And now we look at extending your scale practice. So you're doing really well with your C major and G major scales. So the next one to try would be your D major. Okay, D major is the one with the F sharp and the C sharp. So the fingering pattern is exactly the same. So always following that. You're starting with 5 fingers in the left hand, 3, and then turning in the right hand. So I'm going to do that 2-octave scale on D major. So both 3s on the black key, turn the thumb after in the right hand, 3 comes over in the left hand, C sharp, and then you're halfway with your thumbs on the D. Now the 4 comes over in the left hand, both 3s on the F sharp, turn under in the right hand, turn over in the left hand, remember the C sharp, and you've got to the top. Let's go back down again. Don't forget this turn here in the left hand after the 3rd finger. Remember both 3s meet on the sharp, and make sure you put your 4th finger left hand before you turn, because you must end up with your thumbs on the D halfway. Now the right hand 4 comes over to C sharp. Remember this turn in the left hand after the 3rd finger. Both 3s on F sharp, E, and you finished. I think we may have done this, but I can't remember. A chromatic scale starting on D. So just to remind you, if you might have done it and not done it for a little while, starting on D, I'm just doing 1 octave, okay? It's every single key, every black and white key. They're all called semitones when you're going up in those steps. 3rd finger always uses the black key, both hands that applies to, okay? So the places you have to be careful are these 2 where there's no black key. And that will always be your thumb and your 2nd finger, or your 2nd finger and your thumb if you're coming down. Don't switch them round. That's what you have to watch out for. So in the right hand, off we go. Thumb, 3, thumb next, then the 2 on F, 3, thumb, 3, thumb, 3, thumb first, then the 2 on C. Going down, make sure the 2 goes to C, and the 2 goes to F. Okay, it's probably the easiest thing is to remember where the 2nd finger goes. So in the right hand, it'll be on F and C. In the left hand, it'll be on E and B, because of course it's round the other way. So starting with my 3rd finger coming over the top of my thumb. So 2 on E, 3 on every black key, 2 on B again, and get to the top, then back down again. So remember to put the 2nd finger on the B, thumb first, 2nd finger on E, and that's your chromatic scale. Okay, the other thing that we may have covered, I think we did actually, is the arpeggio. Okay, so I'm just going to go through that again. C major arpeggio is based on a bigger chord. You do broken chords in grade 1 that are much more of a condensed chord. This is a slightly bigger chord because you're doubling the bottom and top note to make an octave. So the fingering is spread out. So thumb, 2, 3, and 5, or thumb if we turn under to do 2 octaves, which is what we're going to do. So C major 1 will be C, E, G, that's your chord of C. Swing under, push the arm right out, the elbow out to get the thumb under. Bring the 2nd finger over. Keep these fingers still so you can just come back to them again. Swing over to G. The other thing to note with that is at this point you miss 2 white notes out. Sometimes it's just a little bit of an indicator. And again, you miss 2 white notes out there. So watch for that interval. It helps just to find the note you're moving on to. Left hand, start either 1 octave down or even 2 octaves, because you do have to come across yourself. So it's whatever's easier. So I'm going to start with C, E, G again. Now this is the fingering you have to really be careful of in the left hand. So easy to slip that 3rd finger in, but it should be 5, 4, 2, okay? So when you come over, what I suggest is rather than stretch the hand right out, which means you'll either go to a note too far away or you might be tempted to use that third finger. So when you do that turn, keep the hand quite tight, quite close together. All right, so the fourth finger goes to E, and the second finger is quite close in again, so it goes to G. If you stretch it out, you're more likely to hit a wrong note. So keep the fingers fairly contained. So 2 on G, stretch the thumb to C, keep that finger where it was so you can go back to it. Turn under, again, push the arm out, push the elbow out. Now this is where you miss that 2 white note interval to find the G, and again, stop the fingers from spreading out, contain the fingers a little bit so you don't lose your placing. So the left hand is more difficult to get used to, but it will settle if you persevere with it. So contain the fingers here and stretch the 2 note gap there, okay? Now you can do that on C major, and you could also do that on G major. Pattern is exactly the same, but it's G, B and D. Turn under. Sorry, I'm going out of view. Apologies for that. Okay, here's your gap of 2 notes. Okay, and the left hand again, 5, 4 and 2. So when you turn over, contain those fingers, don't let them go too stretched. Keep them close together. Thumb, miss 2 white notes there, and you're finished. So that's quite a lot to add to your list, okay?